My beloved child, listen to me now with the full stillness of your heart. Do not let worry blur my voice, and do not let restless speculation cause your heart to tremble. Bow before me and receive what I am about to speak, for my words are not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you to stand firm. When strong winds sweep across your life, there are moments in the spiritual journey when the ground beneath your feet no longer feels steady as it once did, when the sky suddenly darkens and you cannot understand why everything seems to change so quickly. The moment you are about to face is a night like that, but remember this: darkness is never strong enough to hide the presence with which I am wrapping around you. You may feel a heavy wave approaching from afar, as though something unavoidable is drawing near to touch your life. Yes, there will be tremors. There will be things that tighten your throat and truths that ache deeply within you. But my child, I do not speak beforehand to plant fear in you. I speak because I want you to walk with clarity of vision and a heart unshaken. I want your eyes to open so you can see deeper and farther, so that when darkness tries to swallow you, it is forced to stop before the understanding I have sown into your spirit. You must know that every person will eventually pass through a season in which their world feels as if it has tilted sharply to one side, a season when what once seemed solid becomes fragile, when what once supported them suddenly collapses. Some call it testing, some call it rejection, some call it loss, but I call it the time when I prepare to move you into a new land, a door that opens only when the old one has fully closed. You are standing at the threshold of such a transition. It will not be gentle, my child. It may constrict your heart as if a part of yourself has been torn away. It may leave you stunned in silence, asking, "Why is this happening when I am not prepared?" It may cause you to feel as though everything you once held, your faith, your stability, your plans, your promises, is breaking apart in front of you. I will not hide it from you. The pain will come, and it will reach deeper than you expect. But do not let that deceive you. Pain is not your enemy. It is the arm of transformation. My child, when pain knocks on the door, people often believe it signals an ending. But in my kingdom, pain is only a chapter, not the whole story. Pain is like the fire that refines pure gold, like the rising sun that burns away the night mist, so a new morning can be born. You will cry, but those tears are not wasted. You will tremble, but that trembling does not mean you are weak. It means your heart is being reshaped, made purer, stronger, and deeper in faith. I know there are things in your life that were built with hope and faithfulness. I know you have leaned on pillars that once felt immovable. Yet some pillars were meant only for a season, and when that season ends, I must use the shaking itself to help you step away from what you would never release on your own. If I spoke only through words, you would not fully hear. But when circumstances shake, your eyes begin to see what you would not see otherwise. You will want to resist it. You will want to cling to what is slipping away. You will want to ask me why I allowed it to happen. But my child, there are times when I must lead you through the valley to remove from you the things that no longer belong to you. Unhealthy attachments, illusions, expectations not born from me, and burdens you have carried far too long. You may think everything is breaking apart, but in truth, I am laying a new foundation. You may feel as though you are losing all things, but you do not see that I am protecting you from what would wound your spirit in the seasons ahead. You may think you are being pulled away from what you desire, but I know better than you do. I know that what you wanted would not nourish you, but would quietly drain you little by little. When you feel that heavy wave begin to touch you, there will be a deeply honest moment, a moment in which you must decide. Either you let fear take control, or you let me lead you. I long for you to choose me, not because I need you, but because you need the protection that only I can give. You need my light, for that light does more than reveal the path ahead. It exposes the inner places of your own heart and helps you understand why I must allow these things to unfold. My child, in that very hour, remember this: you are not walking alone. I am standing beside you, not from a distance, but as close as your own breath, as present as the beat within your chest. When your heart aches, I feel each pulse. When you struggle to understand, I wait with patience. When you feel weak, I do not see you as a burden. You do not need to pretend to be strong so that I will love you. You need only be honest with me, and I will lift you with a strength no power on earth can compare to. You will see fragments, you will see things that no longer hold together the way they once did, but do not rush to assume that loss is failure. In my kingdom, certain things can only rise from what has been broken. Certain seeds only sprout when your heart has been emptied of the old. You will not understand immediately, and that is all right. You need only trust that I never abandon you in the middle of the storm. Pain will come, I do not deny it, but pain will also pass, and when it passes, it will leave within you a strength you did not know you possessed. You will learn a kind of endurance that only those who have walked through fire can understand. You will see deeper things within yourself, things you had never recognized before. You will learn what it means to stand firm, even when you have nothing left to hold on to except me. Engrave this into your heart, my child. What is coming is not meant to end your story, but to open a new chapter. A chapter in which you will see my intention for you more clearly. A chapter in which you will walk with stronger steps, with eyes that can see further, with a heart that knows how to discern what is genuine and what is false. My beloved child, when the first wave strikes, what I desire for you is not to fix all your attention on the storm crashing into your life. Do not focus solely on the force of the adversity, the roar of the winds, or the chaos it seems to bring. Look instead at my hands, the hands holding you, supporting you, keeping your feet from being swept off the ground. For when your gaze is fixed only on fear, you forget the true source of your strength. But when your eyes turn toward me, you will realize that no wave is ever large enough to sweep away the one who stands in the arms of the Creator. My child, never allow your heart to reach the false conclusion that tragedy is proof. I have turned my back on you. Do not let the whisper of doubt from the shadows convince you that I have withdrawn from your life. My love for you does not shift with circumstances, nor does it tremble because of sudden upheaval. Do not mistake temporary silence for abandonment. I am still there, still breathing with you, still seeing every tremor in your soul, still watching every step you take as you regain balance. I have never left you, not even for a moment. You must understand this. I am not the source of the wounds touching your life. I do not use pain as a tool to punish you or test you for amusement. That is not my nature. My holiness does not allow me to do evil, and my love never delights in your tears. Yet there are things that happen simply because this world was created with freedom. Freedom is a great gift, and every great gift carries both responsibility and risk. In the flow of life, every action leaves an echo. Every decision, even the smallest, contributes to movements unseen by human eyes. Subtle shifts in the hearts of people, the choices of generations long before you, the patterns that have followed you for years, all these accumulate like layers of cloud gathering before a great storm. You call it chaos, unexpected sorrow, sudden pain, but in truth, many of these things have been forming long before you ever realized it. My child, I am fully capable of stopping every event before it unfolds. I can bend every human intention. I can shut down every evil act before it begins, and I can halt every tear before it falls. I can make the world perfect in an instant with nothing more than a single breath. But if I were to do that, the world you live in would lose its meaning. And more importantly, your soul would have no chance to grow, no opportunity to learn the lessons of endurance, no understanding of the value of self-governance, and no experience of the inner strength I designed you to discover. If I cleared away every hardship before it came, you would remain fragile. If I crushed every adversity before it approached, your heart would never learn how to rise. If I shielded you from every stumble, you would forget that you were created with a strength far greater than what you imagine. And if I removed every chance for you to choose, the love you offer me would no longer carry any real worth. It would be nothing more than a mechanical reaction, not a voluntary response from a heart that truly knows how to love. That is why, my child, I choose a different path, the path of freedom, the path of growth, the path of companionship. I do not remove adversity, but I give you my presence in the very midst of it. I do not prevent every event, but I place wisdom in your heart so you may respond in the right way. I do not lock away every door of risk, but I place a light in your hand so you may discern which direction to walk in. I do not erase every thunderclap, but I give you a shelter in the form of my love. This is why I warn you now, not to make you panic, but so your response may become real, strengthened, and filled with love. I want your reactions to be shaped not by fear, but by spiritual understanding. When the storm rises, I want you not to be swept away by emotion, but to stand with a heart that knows I am here and that I am still powerful enough to turn all things meant for harm into something good. My child, there are events that, when they happen, will make your heart feel as though it has been torn in two. There will be news that makes your entire body weaken. There will be moments when you sit silently in your room and can only whisper through your tears, "Why me? Why now?" But I tell you this, do not let those questions lead you into doubt. You may hurt, but do not let your pain pull you away from my love. You may be shaken, but do not let the shaking take you far from the truth that I am always turned toward you. I am not asking you to become strong at once, nor am I demanding that you appear brave when your heart is trembling. I am not asking you to stand tall when your legs feel weak. I simply want you to open your heart so I can place new strength inside it. You are not required to become a hero. You are simply invited to remain, my child, the one I love, the one who knows how to lean on me in the moments of deepest weakness. Understand this deeply, my child. My warning is not a sign of danger, it is a sign of love. I warn you because I want you to be ready. I warn you because I want you to know how to guard your peace amid the noise of chaos. I warn you so that your choices will not be driven by panic, but by the light I have sown within you. When the first wave crashes against your life, you will feel everything tremble around you. But remember, I am the ground beneath your feet. You will see darkness trying to swallow you. But remember, I am the light that surrounds you. You will hear the winds howl. But remember, I am the one who can silence the winds with a single word. There are things you cannot control, the attitudes of others, their decisions, unexpected events, sudden changes that fall like a collapsing wall. But there is always one thing you can control, choosing to turn your face toward me instead of toward fear. When you choose me, you open the door for my heavenly strength to flow into your life. My beloved child, when your heart is still burning with pain, when your wounds are still glowing like red embers, I do not want you to rush into new plans or speak out in reaction. Do not say anything when your soul is still trembling, for in that moment your words do not come from peace but from wounds still open. Do not try to map out the future when your mind is blurred by tears. Every decision made hastily while your heart is still bleeding will only lead you into deeper exhaustion. Give your heart time to settle, time for the waves of emotion to recede, time for your pain to breathe and be named for what it truly is. Tears, my child, are one of the most delicate gifts I placed within your very design. They are not a symbol of failure, not a mark of weakness, and certainly not evidence that you are not strong enough. Tears are the river of the soul, the pathway through which what has been held inside you finds release. They are prayers without sound. When you allow your tears to fall, you are granting your heart the safety to breathe. You are giving your pain permission to be seen, acknowledged, and brought out from the place where it has been tightening its grip on you. Let the tears fall, my child. Let them flow without forcing yourself to swallow them down or pretending to be composed. There are moments in which the strongest thing you can do is allow yourself to be tender before me. Do not feel ashamed of those tears, for they do not diminish your dignity. On the contrary, they prove that you are alive, that your heart can still feel, that you have not become hardened to the things that rightly should wound you. When you tense up to hold your tears back, you do not remove the pain. You only push it deeper inside, where it takes root, hardens, and becomes sharp fragments that cut into your soul every time you breathe. I do not want that for you. I do not desire you to suppress yourself to the point where the unspoken becomes darkness, where what has not yet healed turns into a hidden wound that quietly bleeds for years. Let your tears wash away the dust that time has left behind. Let them carry away the hurt you have kept to yourself because you thought I did not want to hear it or believed no one would understand. My child, when you cry, you open a new space within your heart, a place where light can reach, a place where healing can begin to take root. Tears soften the soil of your soul so that seeds of hope may grow. Tears loosen the walls you have built around your heart to protect yourself after so many disappointments. Tears dissolve the heavy stones inside you so that you no longer live from your wounds, but from truth, from freedom, from the restoration I desire for you. Do not be afraid to name your pain, my child. Do not tell me, I'm fine, when everything within you is crying out. Do not try to hide your cracks in an attempt to appear strong. I do not need a perfect version of you in order to love you. I want you, your real self, your vulnerable self, your tangled, unfiltered emotions that have not yet been named. Tell me your pain as it truly is. Tell me what aches, what steals your sleep, what frightens you, what makes it hard to breathe. I am never burdened by the honest cries of your heart. You must know that when you dare to look your pain in the face and call it by its name, you reclaim the strength that pain tried to steal from you. Pain only holds power when it hides in the dark. The moment you bring it into the light, it loses its ability to crush you. It becomes clear, defined, limited, and anything that has limits falls under my authority. When you say to me, Lord, I am hurting, you are placing the key in my hand so that I may touch the places you cannot heal on your own. My child, I want you to know that the tears you consider useless are actually creating change within you. Each time you cry, your soul becomes lighter. Every tear is a burden lifted from your shoulders. What you cannot express in words, your tears speak on your behalf. And I understand every drop, every trembling breath, every attempt to hold back followed by a sudden breaking. I understand, for I am the one who formed that river within you. Sometimes you believe that if you were stronger, you would not cry. But the truth is this: the strong are those who dare to let their tears fall at the right time. The strong are those who face their emotions rather than run from them. The strong are those who know when to stand firm and when to kneel down simply to breathe. I do not expect you to become someone who never cries. I desire you to become someone who knows where to pour your tears into my arms. Give yourself time, my child. Do not force yourself to be normal again just because the world around you moves faster than your heart. Some pain needs time to dissolve, space to be understood, and patience to be released. I am not asking you to be instantly strong. I am asking you to be honest with the emotions within you. When you cry, you are doing something deeply sacred. You are opening the door for healing to enter. You are telling yourself, I deserve to be restored. You are telling me, I trust you enough to let you see my broken pieces, and I will never reject that invitation. If you want me to, come closer. I will draw near. If you want me to touch the place where you ache, I will gently lay my hand upon it. If you want me to hold you, I will wrap your soul in a comfort so deep no language on earth can describe it. My child, remember this. Speaking out does not make you weak. It is the way you open the door for truth to enter. When you confide your pain to those you trust, the darkness inside you begins to lose its power. When you tell me about the things you fear to face, I use those very words as soil in which I plant the seeds of healing. You do not need to hide. You do not need to force yourself to be strong. You only need to be who you truly are, the one who is seeking me, even while your heart is still in pieces. Let your tears fall, and allow me to wipe them for you. Let your pain be named, and allow me to transform it into something far more beautiful. Let your heart soften, so I may shape it not through pressure or force, but through boundless gentleness. My child, when you open your heart in this way, you step into a path of spiritual maturity that few dare to take. You are learning to face yourself, to let me come deeper, to become so honest that the darkness finds no place left to hide, and it is from that place that renewal begins. My beloved, let your prayer cease to be a duty or a lifeless ritual. Let it become a living stream, like the quiet river that carries each season into the next. Prayer does not need to be ceremonious. It does not require a solemn face or polished words. Prayer is the moment your soul breathes freely, when your heart opens completely before me, when you dare to speak of things you hesitate to confront even within yourself. You do not need to worry about whether your words are beautiful or whether they sound spiritual enough. I do not listen with the ears of the world. I listen with my heart. Come to me simply. like a child running into the arms of their father without needing to explain anything. When you say, "I am afraid. I don't understand what is happening. Hold my hand. Don't let me slip away from myself. Show me the way." My child, those words carry a fragrance more beautiful than any elaborate speech. The fragile words you speak from your depths are the strongest ones of all. There are moments when I see you struggling, searching for the right words, as if I only hear you when you say everything correctly. But my child, I hear every breath. I see the things you cannot articulate. I understand even the tears that never fall. Do not try to fit me into the mold the world has created for what prayer should be. I do not look for perfection in your speech. I look for honesty. As Psalm 34-18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Do you see? I do not demand light from you. I stay close, even when your heart is only fragments. Pray like a river, let your heart flow as it is, smooth or murky, gentle or rushed, beautiful or shattered. A river does not ask if its waters are clean before it moves. It flows because that is its nature. In the same way, come to me in every condition, whether you feel peaceful or chaotic, strong or uncertain, steady or falling apart. I love every version of you. There are times when you think prayer is a list of things you need me to do. But prayer, my child, is not a list. Prayer is not a request form. Prayer is a relationship. It is the unbroken conversation between you and me as companions walking together, as father and child, as one who loves and one who is loved in the quiet depths. Sometimes you do not need to say anything at all. Simply sit down and let my presence wrap around your mind, and your soul will be healed in the silence. Moments of stillness with me are worth more than thousands of words spoken without true connection. My child, when your mind is in turmoil, I know you feel as though your prayers cannot break through the thick fog swirling inside you. There are moments when you want to pray, but your heart feels like a room full of noise, worry, fear, assumptions, doubt, unanswered questions, all spinning like a storm. You think I do not hear you when you sit in silence out of exhaustion, but it is precisely then that I draw closest. I sit beside you in your quietness and speak in a way only your soul can perceive. Learn to recognize my voice, not the thunder that shakes mountains, but the gentle whisper within your heart. As 1 Kings 19:12 reminds you, my voice does not come in the strong wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in a gentle whisper. You want me to speak loudly, so you will not have to listen closely, but I choose the soft voice so that you will turn your heart toward me. If I speak loudly, you would hear me with your ears, but when I speak softly, you must hear me with your soul. My child, you complain that you do not hear me, but in truth, my voice has never been absent. It is only that your heart is still filled with many other echoes. You must learn to be still, not outwardly still, but inwardly still. You must learn to quiet your mind until it becomes like a lake whose surface no longer ripples. And in that stillness, my voice will reach you, so gentle that you may mistake it for your own thoughts. But my child, that whisper is mine. I know that praying consistently is the hardest when you are in pain. On peaceful days, you speak to me with gladness, but on the days when your heart feels torn apart, you want to run from me, as if I were the source of your suffering. I do not blame you, but I want you to know this. Prayer is not meant for the days when you are strong. It is the place you must come to on the days when you feel undone. When your soul is heavy, say, "Lord, I do not know how to pray. Please hear even my silence," and I will hear. I will understand. I will hold that silence as a complete and sacred prayer. There will be times when you come to me with broken, uneven words, like scattered drops of rain. You will speak and stop, speak again, and fall silent. This, too, is prayer. Do not think I only listen to the prayers that are eloquent and whole. I hear the words that get stuck in your throat. I hear the sighs you believe are meaningless. Those sighs are the prayers your soul speaks in the language of sorrow. I want you to understand that prayer is also how you learn to trust me rather than your circumstances. You often come asking me to change the situation, but sometimes the first thing I want to change is you. I want to shape your heart, open your eyes, teach you to discern what is true from what is false, what I desire from what your own desires crave. When you pray, you are allowing me to touch places you are not yet ready to expose. You are allowing me to clear away the things you think you have already overcome, but are still quietly lingering. You are allowing me to lead you where your reasoning alone could never take you. And, my child, remember this: I never let you pray alone. When you speak to me, you are not speaking into emptiness. You are speaking into a heart that listens. You are not talking to a wall. You are talking to the one who loves you more deeply than you love yourself. I stand beside you sometimes in the radiant light you can feel, sometimes in the quiet stillness you cannot sense, but I am always there. There are days when I walk beside you like a companion, keeping pace with you, and you can feel each step of my presence. There are days when I walk ahead to clear the way. There are days when I walk behind you to steady you when you are about to fall. And there are days when I carry you on my shoulders without you realizing it, because you are too weary to take even one more step. But wherever I stand, my child, I am always with you. I want you to learn to pray like a river that never stops flowing, no matter the season. When joy comes, let your prayer flow. When sorrow comes, let it flow. When you feel empty, let it flow with the last drops you have. When you are full, let it flow with gratitude. A river only needs to keep moving, and its waters will be replenished. Prayer is the same. Keep coming to me. Even if today's prayer does not sound like yesterday's, do not let the flow cease. And, my child, I promise you this: if you keep this conversation with me as naturally as your own breath, I will lead you through every valley you fear to enter. I will open a path in the darkness. I will keep your mind from collapsing. I will stand in the midst of what you cannot control. I will walk with you, little by little, day by day. As Psalm 23:4 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. My child, I am with you in your words, in your wordless moments, in your silence, in your sighs, in your tears, and in the smallest whispers. Just keep the river flowing, and I will never allow you to lose sight of me. And my child, when you have learned how to come near me with honesty, when you have learned to lean into the arms of others and allow them to carry you through your most weary days, I desire to lead you one step further, a step you often do not want to face, the step of forgiveness, not because I want you to appear morally superior, but because I know that as long as your heart is still caught on the sharp thorns of resentment, you will never be able to walk lightly on the path I have prepared for you. Forgiveness is not a topic separate from pain. It is the natural part of the healing journey you are walking. When events unfold, when the people you trusted hurt you, or when you yourself cannot understand why things turned in such a painful direction, powerful layers of emotion rise like a tide: disappointment, sadness, self-blame, and especially anger. You may feel the fire of anger burning in your chest, making you want to build high walls to protect yourself, or cling to that emotion as though it were a shield. I do not condemn anger. I know it comes from a very real place within you, a place that longs to be loved rightly, to be respected, to be treated with kindness. Anger is the voice of the wounded places inside you. It is the reminder that your heart has been struck harder than you expected. But my child, anger is not where your soul is meant to dwell. It is like a visitor who comes to deliver a message, not one who is meant to stay. You may sit with it and listen. What is hurting me? What makes me feel betrayed? What do I think I have lost? These questions are not meant to dig your wounds deeper, but to help you understand what is weighing on your heart. And after you have heard its message, you must close the door to it, for it is not a lifelong guest. Anger reveals the problem, but forgiveness is the path to healing. Forgiveness is not a forced gesture or a shallow decision. It does not demand that you minimize what happened, nor require you to forget the pain. Forgiveness is simply the way you step out of the trap of bitterness so your heart will not be suffocated any longer. Forgiveness is the way you say to your past, I will not allow you to bind me. And I want you to recognize that forgiveness does not mean denying justice. For justice is not in your hands, it is in mine. As Romans 12:19 declares, vengeance is mine, I will repay. You do not need to strain to be the judge, for a weary judge cannot live in peace. When you forgive, you are not declaring that the other person was right. You are declaring that you refuse to let your soul become a prison. The bitter roots born from hatred will grow, wrapping around your joy and choking out the peace you have long sought to regain. But when you choose to forgive, you are releasing yourself from what has been pulling your soul downward. Forgiveness is the key that opens the door to inner freedom. It is the way you allow your heart to breathe again, to expand again, to soften again. Yet I know there are moments when you are too weak, too exhausted, too wounded to forgive. There are nights when you believe you have already forgiven, but a passing memory makes your heart tighten again. Forgiveness is not always a single moment. Often, it is a long journey where you must choose to let go day by day. If you do not have the strength, I do not expect you to do it alone. You only need to say, "Lord, I cannot forgive. Please help me. Please do this in me." When you speak those words, my child, I begin softening the places that have hardened, loosening the knots you cannot untie. I lift the heaviest part of that burden onto my own shoulders. Forgiveness is not an obligation. It is a gift I long to give you, so you no longer have to live in the dark space someone else created. And one day, you will see what is still unclear to you now. Forgiveness never makes you weak. It strengthens you in a way the world cannot comprehend. Those who are most profound in spirit are those who know how to forgive, because they understand that carrying hatred is the same as carrying chains. Forgiveness is the courage to step beyond the shadows of memory and return to live in my light. It does not take anything away from you, rather, it returns to you the purity your soul once possessed. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness so your heart may be healed. Forgiveness so your future will no longer be trapped in your past. Forgiveness so no one else has the power to control your emotions, your sleep, or your peace. Forgiveness so you may enter each new day without dragging behind you the shadows that once held you captive. And, my child, believe this, I will be present with you in every step you take toward forgiveness. When you feel weak, I will strengthen you. When you sense yourself retreating, I will gently draw you back toward the light. When you tremble at the thought of facing old memories, I will stand beside you, place my hand upon your shoulder, and tell you, you do not face this alone. When you grow weary, I will let you rest in my arms. And when you find yourself unable to forgive yet, I will forgive on your behalf until your heart becomes strong enough to truly step into freedom. You are not alone in this journey. Every step you take, I am there, lifting you up, keeping you steady, healing the fragments you believed would never be whole again. And whether you forgive today or you need much more time, I do not rush you, nor do I force you. I simply draw you closer and whisper, I am here. Just move one small step at a time. I will walk with you until the very end of the path. And, my child, in these days when the event has just unfolded and your mind still trembles from the shock of what no one expected, I want you to pay attention to something that seems small but carries the power to determine your inner peace. Guard your mind from the chaotic flow of rumors, assumptions, and embellished stories. In moments of pain, your imagination is easily swept into the whirlpool of things you never witnessed yourself. It can create scenarios that are both inaccurate and cruel, piling more weight onto a heart already burdened. When your soul is fragile, rumors become like poisonous winds. Just the slightest breeze can make your spirit dizzy. You hear an unfinished sentence, and your mind fills the rest with fear. You catch a fragment of a story, and your thoughts complete the missing pieces with the worst possibilities. You read a single line of news, and your heart drops like a stone. But, my child, most of those things are not true. They are merely the creations of troubled minds or careless tongues, unaware of the weight their words carry. I do not want the opinions of others to pull you away from the peace I am restoring within you. I do not want your mind to feed on half-truths, for half-truths can often be more dangerous than an outright lie. A half-truth leaves gaps, and in those gaps fear slips in. From fear comes imagination, and from imagination, a host of tormenting images arise that you do not have the strength to erase. The pain of reality is heavy enough. Do not let what is unreal become another burden. If you hear something that disturbs your heart, pause. Do not believe it too quickly. Do not draw conclusions too fast. If possible, seek the truth from the most reliable source, from those who were present, from those who saw clearly. I do not want you to wound yourself further by trusting what has not been verified. You do not need to add fear to the sorrow you already carry. Let your mind be bathed in the light of truth, not in the fog of speculation. Remember what the scripture says in Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your mind is the gateway to your heart. If you do not watch over it, darkness will search for even the smallest cracks to slip through. My child, a troubled mind can paint images far harsher than reality. It can create scenes in mere seconds that your soul will spend days trying to heal. It can make a small incident feel like a raging storm. It can convince you that you have reached the bottom when, in truth, you are still standing on solid ground. I do not want your imagination to become the enemy of your own soul. I want it to be the instrument of hope, of faith, of goodness. But for that to happen, you must learn how to quiet your mind. You cannot control the noise outside, but you can choose which noise is allowed inside. You cannot silence what people say, but you can decide not to receive it. You cannot stop the world from spreading false stories, but you can shield your heart with awareness and discipline. Do not let yourself drown beneath countless versions of the same pain. When you read it again and again, hear it again and again, replay it again and again, your wound has no chance to close. It tears open each time you unlock your phone, each time you scroll through a new post, each time you hear people talking. Your heart needs stillness to heal. But if you keep letting the streams of chaotic information flood in, you are undoing the very thing you are praying for. I want you to know how to disconnect. Give yourself permission to step away from the screen, from unnecessary conversations, from forwarded messages, from social media overflowing with speculation. You do not have to know everything that is circulating out there. You do not owe the world your attention, but you owe yourself peace. You owe your heart a breath. You owe your soul clarity. Close the door of information for a while, so that you may open wider the door that leads into rest. There are shadows that form for only one reason. You allow your mind to remain in the zone of disturbance for too long. A mind that absorbs thousands of painful images becomes dim. A mind that spends its days chasing rumors becomes tangled. A mind that does not seek truth, but feeds itself with assumptions will gradually lose the clarity I placed within you. And so, my child, I tell you with an unchanging love, guard your mind. Guard it with discipline. Guard it with discernment. Guard it by choosing to speak and listen to what is wholesome. Guard it by returning to what is true, what is bright, what is good. Guard it with my word, for my word is the lamp that lights your path in the darkest days. This is the moment when you must stand on the side of your own peace, even when the world outside is filled with noise. You cannot be healed if you do not pause to rest. You cannot remain steady if your mind keeps chasing images you cannot verify. You cannot hear my voice if your heart is too full of the voices of people. I am inviting you into a deeper stillness, a place without rumors, without speculation, without the endless inflated images. In that place, it is only you and me. And there, you will see that peace does not come from knowing everything. Peace comes from knowing that I am your fortress, your refuge, the light that surrounds you. Let me hold your mind. Let me become the wall that guards your thoughts. Let me lead you out of chaos into the place where your heart can rest. And when you choose to do this, my child, you will see that darkness has no room left to thrive. For in a mind carefully guarded, light will always find a way to enter. All you need is to open your heart and allow me to walk with you through this turbulence, one breath at a time. You will not be lost. You will not collapse. You are being kept in my hands. My beloved child, in the hours when darkness seems to stretch across your vision, I want you to pause and remember the purpose I placed in your life from the very beginning. No crisis appears without meaning. Every time the ground beneath you shakes, it is stripping away what you were never meant to carry. This disturbance is like a strong yet gentle hand, removing the layers of dust that have clung to your soul through the years. When everything is overturned, when what you once held onto becomes fragile, ask your heart this question: what in me is so true that no circumstance can take it away? You will see that the most enduring things are never what can be measured, neither wealth, nor recognition, nor the plans you desperately try to shape according to your own will. Everything belonging to this world can collapse like houses built on sand, but love, sincere, generous, quiet, and patient love, stands firm even when the world falls apart. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13:8. Love is the one trace the storm cannot erase. It is the hidden seed that sprouts amid the ashes. Therefore, my child, do not let what truly matters wait for some distant day. If you love someone, say it. If your heart misses someone, let them know. If you have long carried gratitude without speaking it, lift your voice. Many people hold tender words inside, waiting for the right moment. But my child, the right moment is now. A gentle word can lift a soul on the brink of collapse. An honest sentence can rescue a heart drying up in despair. Do not fear the tremble in your voice. Do not worry that your words are imperfect. The trembling only means you are speaking from the deepest place within yourself. Words carry healing you cannot imagine. Each loving word is a drop of oil poured into the fractures of the world. My child, I also want to remind you not to let despair make you abandon the work or responsibilities I entrusted to you. This world still needs hands that know how to love, heal, and protect. When you feel you cannot change anything, remember that sometimes a single small act can turn someone's entire day around. If you can offer someone a meal, do it. If you can help them stand when they have no strength left, lift them. If you can stay beside someone trembling in the night, stay. If you can bring a bottle of water, repair something broken, or simply listen to a weary heart pour itself out, then do it. The world becomes less cold because of small acts everyone thinks are insignificant. My child, service is a flame. It does not erupt from grand moments, but grows from quiet, hidden acts. Each time you choose to help another person, you are rekindling your own light. Humility is not the lowering of oneself. It is the deep understanding that the greatest meaning is found in the actions no one sees. What you do when no eyes are watching is what heaven remembers, not the moments when you stand beneath the gaze of the world. Service is the doorway that opens into the true beauty of the soul. And my child, I want you to understand this deeply. When you bend down to lift someone else up, you yourself are being healed. There are wounds within you that time cannot touch, but service can. When you offer kindness, you are stitching back the torn threads inside your own heart. When you show gentleness to another, you are learning to be gentle with yourself. You never lose when you love. It is love itself that makes your heart whole. There will be moments when you feel weak, weary, and empty. You will think you have nothing left to give. But my child, those are the very moments when my flame is glowing quietly within you, waiting to be awakened by a single act of compassion. Do not wait until you are strong to help another. Do not wait for a perfect soul to offer love. It is precisely when you are breaking that you understand what it means to support someone. It is because you have fallen that you know how to take the hand of someone who is slipping. Those who have been wounded are the ones who know how to heal. Remember that I never ask you to do things beyond your strength. I only desire you to give what you can, with a steady heart and a tender spirit. When you step out to help someone, I walk with you. When you open your heart to listen to another soul, I stand behind you. When you stoop to pick up something small, heaven stoops with you. You are never alone in the journey of serving. I am there in every step, in every breath, in every tear and every smile you give to someone else. My child, in days when the world becomes chaotic, keep your heart like a garden tended with care. Water the seeds of love you have sown. Let the light within you keep spreading, even if it shines only like a small ray in the night. Do not let fear cause you to withdraw. Love does not diminish when you give it away. It only grows deeper, wider, and more enduring. Let every act of kindness you offer become a brick in building a new world. Let every word of love you speak become a breath of healing for another soul. Let your presence, no matter how small, be a refuge for someone in the storm. You do not have to perform the extraordinary. You only need to live fully in the purpose I have woven into you. My beloved child, in an age when the noise of the world can drown out the quiet voice of heaven, You must be more discerning than ever with promises that sound gentle but lead the soul into darkness. There are those who rise up and proclaim themselves to be enlightened, to be the ones who understand all mysteries, to be the ones who see the future. They speak with honeyed words that hide deception beneath their sweetness. They pour into your heart promises of quick escapes, easy endings, or simple signs that claim to explain an entire world of complexity. But, my child, I want you to know that anything built on ease will not last, and any path that bypasses the testing of true and false, right and wrong, cannot lead to light. For many false prophets will arise and deceive many, Matthew 24-11. That scripture does not speak only of long ago. It is alive in the very era you are walking through. My child, remember that darkness does not always appear in a frightening form. Sometimes it comes dressed in kindness. Those who call themselves guides may speak with sincerity, with bright eyes, with arguments that sound convincing, but the danger is not in the appearance. It lies in their invitation for you to surrender the freedom, the peace, and the God-given authority of your own soul. They want you to hand over your inner life in exchange for the illusion of having every answer. But, my child, anyone who demands that you trade your inner peace for the promise of total control is not sent by me. My child, along the path of life, there will be many voices insisting that they know exactly who is at fault. They cast blame on one individual or one group as though the world is governed by a single cause. But, my child, life is not that simple. Behind every event are countless streams intertwined: human choices, history, environment, psychology, ambition, fear, hope, ignorance, and even realities you cannot perceive with your natural eyes. Those who say, everything would have been different if only that person acted correctly, overlook the truth that the world is woven from billions of interlaced threads. They tell you things that stop you from thinking, from discerning, from exploring, and from learning. But, my child, wisdom does not resemble the shouting of the crowd. Wisdom is a quiet, profound voice inviting you into the territory of difficult questions. Wisdom never satisfies you with quick, convenient answers. It urges you to face the truth, no matter how complex or bitter it may be. Wisdom is not about saving face, but about guarding your soul from being distorted by fear and prejudice. Wisdom is when you look at what is happening and still keep a heart that can love, even when you do not understand everything. I want you to listen with your heart, not only with your ears. Listen also to what is left unsaid. Pay attention to the motives behind words that appear polished and impressive. Consider what brings chaos and what brings peace. You must learn to distinguish between truth, wrapped in love, and deception, coated with noble-sounding language. For not everything that sounds spiritual belongs to me, and not every idea labeled as wisdom is born of the spirit of light. My child, in this chaotic world, there will be those who use fear as a way to control others. They want you to believe that only they hold the key to salvation, that if you simply follow them, you will never worry again. But remember this: I never manipulate you with fear. My guidance always leaves one unmistakable mark: peace. If a voice brings panic, coercion, or causes you to lose your ability to think clearly, that voice is not from me. I give you freedom, not chains. Light, not a prison. Many people you meet will say, just do this and everything will be fine. Or, if that person had behaved differently, the tragedy would never have happened. But, my child, that is merely their attempt to simplify a reality far larger than they can control. When someone blames another, they are avoiding the deeper truth that every person shares responsibility in the great tapestry of humanity. Instead of blaming, what I desire from you is rebuilding with humility, with understanding, with patience, and with a heart that does not reject difficult truths. My child, when the voices of accusation rise, step back and listen within. I will speak to you, not with thunder, but with gentleness. I will direct you not through grand promises, but through spiritual clarity. Wisdom is the union of insight and compassion. Wisdom is the courage to say, I do not know everything, but I want to see more clearly. Wisdom is keeping a tender heart and discerning eyes. My child, I have seen the places in your spirit that were shaken by false prophecies. I know there were moments you felt confused, wondering if they were truly right, wondering if they were speaking on my behalf. But, my child, my spirit will never lead you onto a path where you lose yourself, lose your peace, or lose the inner voice I planted in you from the very beginning. You are a creation who carries my breath. Why surrender that breath to someone merely because their words sound sweet? My child, remember that truth does not always arrive with a loud cry. It comes through patience. It comes through a sincere life. It comes through the quiet faithfulness of continuing to do what is right, even when no one is watching. The world loves quick answers, magical solutions, and sensational prophecies, but heaven treasures hearts that stand firm in truth, even when their steps are slow. My child, I am calling you to protect your own soul. Do not allow anyone to take from you the right to think, the right to question, or the right to walk in the freedom I have given you. No one is permitted to make you dependent on them in order to survive. No one has the authority to push you into surrendering your peace just to chase after empty promises of control. My child, if you want to discern what comes from me, look at the fruit it bears. What is from me brings light, gentleness, humility, and a spirit of service. What is not from me brings suspicion, pride, chaos, and unhealthy dependence. Use the spiritual eyes I have given you to look deeply into the essence of things, not merely their outward appearance. When truth comes, it will not throw you into panic. It will set you free. When wisdom comes, it will not suffocate you. It will create room within your soul for breath. When my guidance comes, you will sense pathways opening, not feel yourself cornered. My child, guard your peace as a treasure. Close the door to easy promises and open it to deeper truth. Let my spirit guide you step by step so you do not lose your way among the countless voices of the world. My beloved child, in these days when your soul is tossed between anxiety, responsibility, and a nameless fear you cannot describe, I want you to remember this. You are not a machine. You were not created to function endlessly without rest. You are a being made with my breath, crafted by the love of heaven. And because of that, I desire you to care for yourself with the same gentleness you offer to the one you love most. So many times I have seen you give everything to others, knowing how to wrap your arms around someone when they are fragile, knowing how to warm hearts that have grown cold, knowing how to listen with patience even when your own strength is fading. But when it is you who collapses, you become harsher with yourself than anyone else ever could be. You blame yourself for being tired, for being sad, for not accomplishing everything you thought you should be able to do. My child, I did not create you to treat yourself like an enemy. I want you to look at yourself through the eyes I use to look at you. Eyes filled with tenderness, understanding, and support. When your body is exhausted, when your heart grows heavy, I want you to pause. Do not force yourself to be strong when you are fragile. True strength does not come from pushing through every limit. It comes from knowing when to stop in order to be restored. My child, if someone you love were so weary they could barely stand, what would you tell them? You would tell them to rest. You would tell them to put down their burdens, to lean into stillness, to lay their head upon peace. So why do you speak harsh words to yourself whenever your strength runs out? Care for yourself as you would care for your most cherished one, with kindness, with generosity of heart, with compassion for the limits of a fragile body. My child, when you are tired, rest. Do not treat rest as failure. Do not imagine that pausing means weakness. Rest is how you cooperate with me. Rest is the sign of trust. Trust that I am holding everything, even when you let go. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This is not only a promise for the desperate, it is a reminder that peace is the gift I long to place inside your heart every single day. And when your body tells you it needs nourishment, respond with gentleness, even when your stomach resists food because of fear, tension, or a tightening you cannot name. I still want you to offer yourself the care you need. Food is not only fuel for your flesh, it is your way of reminding your own soul that you are worthy of care. Do not abandon yourself on the days when your mind is weary. Do not Punish your body for what your heart has not yet understood. Eat even when it brings no pleasure. Drink water even when your throat feels dry from fear. Each act is a declaration that you choose life, that you choose to continue, that you choose to keep the flame within you alive. And my child, when fear clings to you like a layer of mud upon your skin, let water wash it off. Bathing is not merely cleansing the body, it is a ritual of spiritual renewal. The cool water I created carries the power to purify. As you let it flow over you, you are allowing exhaustion, anxiety, and fear to be rinsed away, little by little. Do not underestimate these simple actions. They are remedies I have hidden within your daily life, so that you may find relief even while the storm continues to blow. My child, I want you to understand that caring for yourself is never selfish. On the contrary, it is the foundation that allows you to love more deeply and more enduringly. When you are depleted, you cannot pour into others. When you are exhausted, you cannot lift anyone up. When your heart is dry, you cannot refresh the parched ground of another soul. Therefore, care for your inner being as if it were a precious garden. Water it, soften the hardened soil, prune away the branches of self-blame and shame. The more rightly you love yourself, the more room you create to love others with the kind of love that comes from me. There are nights when your mind wanders into a maze of thoughts, and sleep becomes a distant luxury. You lie there, eyes wide open, though your body is weary, wondering why peace feels so difficult to reach. My child, sleep is not an escape. It is the restoration I designed for you. But when you cannot fall asleep, I want you to return to your breath, the very first gift I placed in you when you were formed in your mother's womb. Inhale for a count of 2, hold for 2, exhale for 3. That rhythm may seem so simple that no one imagines it holds power. But, my child, it is the rhythm of life, the rhythm of balance, the rhythm of peace I wove into every breath you take. When you anchor your attention to your breathing, you draw your mind back to the present moment, away from the frightening scenarios your imagination paints. You remind yourself that I am right here within every rhythm, every quiet space, every inhalation and exhalation. I want you to know that stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is where you hear my voice most clearly. When the world grows loud, my voice remains gentle, yet it shines like a candle in a darkened room. In those moments, you do not need many words, nor long prayers. Simply place your hand on your chest, breathe, and know that I am holding your hand. There are days when you believe self-care is a luxury, because so many around you are hurting, and because you carry so many responsibilities. But my child, I want you to see this through my eyes. When you care for yourself, you are honoring the body and soul I entrusted to you. That kind of self-respect is an act of worship. That care becomes a wordless prayer. Lord, I believe what you gave me is valuable, and I choose to keep it well. My child, begin with the smallest things: a full night's rest, a nourishing meal, a warm glass of water, a slow step, a deep breath. These may seem weightless, but I use these very small things to restore you day by day, like a skilled artisan mending torn fabric by hand. Restoration does not always arrive like a blazing miracle. Sometimes it comes like a sunny morning, a comforting meal, or a gentle sleep after many weary nights. My child, I love you enough to desire strength within you, not the strength that appears outwardly impressive, but the kind that is rooted deep within your soul. Every time you care for yourself, you are partnering with me in the healing of your inner being. Every time you listen to your body, you honor what I placed inside you. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with your own journey. I see how hard you are trying. I see every small effort. I take note of the days you rise even when your heart feels heavy. You are not invisible before me. My child, slow your steps. Love yourself the way I love you. Care for yourself as an act of faith, and you will see that from that care, love will flow again, stronger, purer, steadier, like water drawn from the springs of heaven. My beloved child, in the days when every step feels as if you are walking on ground still trembling after loss, I want you to move slowly and open your heart to wisdom that comes from many directions. You were not created to live in isolation during the storm, nor to carry all the weight of grief alone. There are truths you will only recognize when you listen to the voices of those who have walked through wounds like the ones you now face. Wisdom does not appear like a sudden flash of lightning, nor as a shout rising from the crowd. Wisdom is the footprint of those who endured the desert, the breath of hearts once shattered and then slowly healed. In quiet humility, the elders, those who carry within themselves stories of complexity, hardship, and perseverance, are living books you can open. They are witnesses of seasons of storms, seasons of valleys, and seasons of rising again. Approach them with reverence, for every wrinkle on their faces is a lesson carved by time. Listen to what they say, not only with your ears but with your spirit. Some of their words will sound simple, but that simplicity was born from an entire lifetime of experience. There are people who lost everything, yet rose again with calloused hands full of hope. They can show you the most practical ways to stitch your life back together after it has been torn apart. My child, wisdom is not found only in theories or lofty philosophies. It is also hidden within the simplest acts of living. Being able to cook yourself a meal on a day when your heart has no appetite. Being willing to tidy a corner of your room when your soul feels tangled. Choosing to step outside and feel the sunlight when you are convinced your spirit has sunk into darkness. Those who have once stood in the midst of a storm understand that these small acts are the bridge that leads you back to life, one fragile step at a time. They will tell you real stories, stories of profound loss, stories of sleepless nights, stories of times they collapsed and then rose again on trembling legs. Listen to them, for in their stories you will see a reflection of your own journey, the tender corners of your heart, the quiet stretches of pain, and the glimmers of light you cannot yet perceive in this moment. My child, I want you to learn from communities who know how to weave themselves back together after great devastation. There are places where, after the storm has passed, people do more than rebuild their homes. They rebuild one another's hearts. They share with each other slices of bread, sips of water, and gentle words that steady the soul. They do not ask who was right or wrong. They ask only, how do we rise again together? And it is this that transforms a community into sacred ground, where love becomes the thread that stitches even the deepest tears. My child, learn to observe how they embrace one another in sorrow, how they rebuild from broken bricks, how they turn loss into unity, and how they use their own wounds to grow compassion. These lessons are both practical and deeply sacred, for they reveal what I have placed within humanity, that the human heart can be reborn not once, but many times, if you give it the chance. He heals the broken-hearted and binds up their wounds, Psalm 147:3. And I continue to do this, even now, through human hands, through kindness, through the strength of community. Yet, my child, along this journey you must learn to be patient with time. No one has the authority to schedule your grief. No one standing outside your pain may declare, it is time for you to be fine now. Grief keeps a clock of its own. It does not obey society's expectations, nor does it move according to anyone's timetable. It moves slowly, sometimes painfully so. It takes a step forward, then retreats. It makes you believe you are healed, then breaks you open again on an unannounced afternoon. My child, that is not failure. It is the nature of healing. Recovery is not a straight path. It takes the shape of spirals. There will be days when you feel strong, as though every storm has passed, and there will be days when you crumble because of a small memory you did not expect. I want you to know this does not make you weaker. It is simply the sign of a heart learning to open again after being shattered. Let this rhythm be what it is. Do not force yourself to move faster. Do not allow anyone to draw a deadline for your hurting, your crying, your remembering, or your sorrow. No clock can measure the journey of the inner world. My child, allow time to do its work. It will not erase your scars, but it will soften them, making them less sharp, less startling, less capable of frightening you when you look at them. And, my child, those scars, whether etched on your soul or on your body, are not things you must hide. They are testimony that you survived what once threatened to destroy you. They tell the story of how you stood up again from the place you thought you would never rise. See them as medals of endurance, as proof that you fought, that you loved, that you sacrificed, and that you did not give up. Many think scars are shameful, but my child, I see them as quiet glories. They do not diminish your beauty, they deepen it. You are not who you were before, now you are stronger, kinder, more understanding. What you endured has not reduced your worth, it has carved your soul more deeply into the fabric of this life. My child, I want you to remember that there is nothing wrong with this journey. There is no shame in taking your time to heal. There is no shame in trembling on some days. These are all steps on the path of restoration that I am walking with you. You are not slower than anyone else. You are moving at the exact pace your heart is able to bear. My child, in every passing moment, I am rebuilding you slowly, gently, piece by piece. I lift you through the stories of those who have walked ahead of you. I gather the strength of community to wrap around you. I use time itself to soften the things that once felt too sharp. I use memory to teach you kindness, and I use your very scars to remind you that you survived what once felt impossible. My beloved child, there are moments in life when pain rushes in like a flood, breaking through every barrier in the heart, when loss is fresh, when the wound still throbs, when your heart has not yet found its rhythm again. Your mind becomes vulnerable to the fierce currents of emotion. And in those first days when everything feels too strong, too chaotic, too bright, or too dark, I urgently urge you, do not make any decision that carries lasting weight. My child, the heat of pain is never the place from which to choose your next direction. Many souls on this earth have acted out of confusion, anger, or despair, only to spend years wishing they could undo what they once did. When you are hurting, your thoughts are clouded by heavy shadows. You cannot see the real sky, you cannot recognize the true light, and you cannot hear my voice with clarity. In the early days after a breaking point, all your emotions are magnified. Grief feels deeper, fear feels stronger, exhaustion feels heavier. You think you cannot bear it, that you must take immediate action to end the ache. But, my child, the only things you need in that moment are to breathe, to rest, and to give your heart time to settle. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Those words were written for moments like these, moments when your soul is so overwhelmed that you feel as though you are losing control. Stillness is not surrender. Stillness is the space in which I speak louder than your fear. My child, when your heart is tangled, I do not want you making decisions that could alter the course of your life. Do not end a relationship simply because your heart is bruised. Do not begin a new journey simply to escape sorrow. Do not abandon your work, your home, your dreams, or the people you love merely because your emotions are shouting inside your chest. Decisions born from pain are rarely wise, for they do not come from the peace of the spirit but from the panic whispered by darkness. I have seen countless people, wounded and desperate, rush into choices they believed would help them breathe again. They thought quick changes would heal deep wounds. But pain does not vanish when circumstances shift. It travels with you until it is truly tended to. And when their emotions finally calm, they realize they have destroyed things that never needed to be destroyed. I do not want this for you. Therefore, my child, I urge you, wait for clarity. Light does not come when you demand it. Light comes when your heart remains still long enough for me to speak into it. Clarity is a gift, not a desperate reaction. When your soul is unsettled, what you need most is not an answer, but the presence of those you truly trust. Do not seek counsel from those who only amplify your emotions. Seek the friends who carry wisdom, who possess calm hearts, who see what you cannot see. A mature friend will not push you into a decision. They will sit beside you, listen to you, place a steady hand on your shoulder, and remind you that you are not facing anything alone. They will help you see that not everything you feel in the early days is true. They will remind you that no matter how powerful an emotion feels, it is not meant to guide the rest of your life. They will counsel you to pause, to wait, and to give your heart several quiet nights to recover. And, my child, sometimes what you need most is simply a full night of sleep. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is the medicine I designed for your body. Many choices that seem correct when you are exhausted become unreasonable after one night of true rest. Clarity rarely comes in chaos. It comes when your heart is laid down, when your body loosens, when your breath returns to its natural rhythm. My child, The right path often becomes clearer after a night of rest and a few calm conversations with people who truly understand you. Peace is the compass. If you hear advice that makes your heart feel constricted, then that counsel did not come from me. If you think about a decision and your heart grows restless, anxious, or heavy, then that is not the direction you should take. What comes from me always bears the imprint of peace, even when it is difficult. My child, I want you to understand that waiting is not a delay. It is a form of honoring yourself. Waiting until your heart is no longer driven by pain is how you protect your life from unnecessary harm. Waiting is humility. You acknowledge that you do not yet see clearly enough to choose. Waiting is trust you. Believe that I am working in the quiet spaces your eyes cannot perceive. Think of the surface of water battered by strong winds. As long as the wind does not cease, the water can never show you a clear reflection. Your heart is the same. When emotions are still swirling, your mind cannot yet discern what is true. But when you allow time to soften the winds, the water becomes calm again, and what you need to see will naturally appear. So when you are hurting, walk slowly. When you are confused, be still. When you are weary, lie down and sleep for a night. When you are uncertain, seek a wise friend. When clarity has not yet come, wait until your heart returns to that familiar rhythm of peace. I remain beside you, patient, like the dawn waiting at the far end of the night. I do not rush you. I do not demand immediate answers. I only desire for you to heal enough to hear my voice clearly. And when you listen, you will realize that I have never once left you to make a decision alone. My beloved child, after the first storm is settled and the waters of your emotions no longer churn with the force of the early days, I want you to step into a new space, a place where calmness begins to take root, where the fragments within you slowly gather themselves into a shape you have never seen before. This is not the time to rush, nor is it the time to pretend to be strong to prove something. This is the moment for you to learn how to listen to the deeper voice within you, the voice that has been drowned out for years by the noise of life. When you sit in stillness, you will notice that some answers have been waiting inside your spirit, not born from pressure, but from the gentle light of clarity revealing itself little by little. Not all truth arrives in the first moment. Some truths can only be found after you have breathed deeply enough, cried thoroughly enough, and been silent long enough to hear me. My child, I want you to know that clarity does not arrive like lightning tearing through the night sky. It comes like dawn, slow, subtle, little by little, and your heart must open to receive it, not with urgency, but with the acceptance that it needs time to see rightly. Give yourself that grace. Do not force your heart to understand immediately what your mind is not yet peaceful enough to hold. You are not weak for not knowing. You are simply in the moment before the seed breaks through the soil. Let time do its work, and one morning you will wake up and realize that what once frightened you no longer makes you tremble. That is the quiet arrival of clarity within you. When the initial pain begins to settle, I want you to turn inward, not to judge or condemn yourself, but to discover what is still trembling inside. My child, do not hide those tender parts from me, for I am not intimidated by your fragility. I see all of it, and I embrace all of it. Ask yourself, what is making you hesitant? What is stirring your anxiety? What is causing your heart to fold into itself? These questions are not meant to dig up your wounds, but to help you notice the shadows that are calling for light. When you dare to look inward, you will understand what is truly healed and what still longs for restoration. And the moment you stop running from your pain is the moment your spiritual growth begins. I know there are things you would rather avoid, wrong decisions you regret, relationships that broke apart, words spoken in anger, expectations you placed on others that ended up hurting you. But my child, avoiding them does not make them disappear. It only pushes them deeper, where they become the quiet whispers that confuse you every time you face a new choice. That is why I want you to look back on these things with gentleness toward yourself. Do not blame yourself too harshly. You acted with the light you had at the time. Now, as more light begins to shine, you only need to let it do its work, revealing, clarifying, and guiding you toward a different future. My child, once you have taken the time to look into your own heart, I want you to begin asking yourself the questions that truly matter, questions that can lead you toward A deeper understanding of who you are at your core, not the kinds of questions that torment you, such as, "Why did I fail?" or "I should have done better." Those questions only pull you deeper into the shadows. Instead, ask yourself, what matters most to me in this moment? Where does my heart genuinely want to go? What is this pain trying to teach me? Is the direction I'm considering born out of fear or out of peace? These are the questions that will carry you to the place where clarity can begin to rise. When you ask the right questions, you open the door for me to enter and give you wisdom from heaven, wisdom no one will ever be able to take away from you. My child, in this journey of restoration, I want you to learn something many grown adults never discover: the art of slowness. People rush because they fear falling behind, fear being judged, fear running out of time, fear not being good enough. But haste never leads to truth. Truth needs space, and space only appears when you dare to slow down. When you slow down, you will hear the voice of your own heart more clearly. When you slow down, you will notice things you have overlooked for years. How your soul tightens when you walk in the wrong direction. How your body feels lighter when you step toward the right one. Slowness is how you honor yourself and how you honor me. For I do not dwell in urgency, I dwell in peace. And when you begin walking slowly, you will recognize the value of those who can stay by your side in the quiet. Not everyone carries the peace required to walk this path with you. You do not need many people. You only need the right ones. Seek those whose hearts are gentle yet whose minds are clear. Those who can listen without rushing to fix you. Those who see your pain without demanding that you hide it. Those who can remind you that you are still lovable, still enough, still worthy even when you feel collapsed within yourself. They will not make decisions for you. They will help you see your choices more clearly. They will not push you to move faster. They will hold you steady when you want to run away from your own soul. They are the gifts I have placed in your life so you will not have to walk through the valley on trembling legs alone. In moments like these, I also want you to understand a sacred truth that people rarely recognize. Sleep itself is an act of faith. When you choose to lie down, close your eyes, and entrust the night to me, you are saying, "Lord, I cannot manage this on my own," but you can. In sleep, I touch the parts of you your rational mind cannot reach. I loosen the knots within you. I soothe the memories that ache. I rearrange the tangled thoughts you cannot quiet. And when you wake, you will notice that the things that tightened around your heart the night before now feel lighter. Not because circumstances changed, but because I worked within you all through the night, silently yet powerfully. My beloved child, the most important thing I want you to remember is this: when true clarity arrives, you will know. You will no longer need to convince yourself. You will not feel the urge to ask countless people for confirmation. You will not feel fear rising every time you consider that path. For what comes from me always carries a mark that darkness cannot imitate. Deep, steady peace. Not the fleeting thrill of excitement, not a burst of momentary enthusiasm, but a quiet peace that lets you breathe deeply, gently, and know, this is the direction I am meant to go. My peace is never loud. It is like a gentle stream moving beneath dry ground. It is like a soft hand resting on your shoulder when you tremble. It is like a faint but steady light that shows each step you must take. And when you walk in the direction marked by that peace, you will feel my companionship, not from behind, not from afar, but right beside you. You will recognize that I have been standing there all along, waiting for you to understand, waiting for you to quiet your soul, waiting for you to hear my voice. My child, you are not alone. This journey is not merely a challenge. It is a preparation. I am leading you to a place where your heart will open in ways it never has before. I am guiding you through the land of patience, so you may become the person you were created to be, and I will not let you lose your way. All I ask is that you continue walking in peace, continue listening, continue believing that I am working in every moment, even in the moments when you feel anything but strong. My beloved child, now that your heart has begun to settle like a lake returning to stillness after a strong wind, I want to lead you deeper into the journey I have begun within you. Clarity is not only about understanding the next step, it is also about understanding yourself in the very process through which I am transforming you. There are things you have never wanted to touch, layers of emotion you have always avoided, wounds you have covered with a smile or with busyness. But, my child, when you are willing to slow your pace, silence will begin to open the rooms your soul once locked away. Do not fear what you will see there. Even if some places are dark and cold, I have already been there, waiting for you to return so I may place my light into your deepest corners. In life, there will be seasons when you think you understand everything clearly, only to have one single event make you feel as if you are starting all over again. That does not mean you have failed. It only proves that you are being led to a deeper level of maturity. No one walks a spiritual journey without encountering repeated cycles, but each cycle is a spiral that rises, lifting you into a version of yourself that is wider, stronger, and brighter than before. I want you to understand that maturity does not mean pain will never revisit you. It means that every time it does, you no longer collapse the way you once did. Each time it knocks on your door, you learn to stand a little longer, breathe a little deeper, and wait with a little more patience. And right there, in those quiet shifts, I am working. My child, there are parts of you where pain has lived so long that you assumed they would never change. But I am not limited by your past. I am not limited by what you believe is impossible to transform. I am not limited by wounds that have existed for years. All I need is for your heart to open just enough for me to touch. And when I touch those places, what once seemed immovable will begin to shift. Do not think that I work only when you can feel it clearly. Many of the miracles I perform within you happen silently, like the way roots spread beneath the soil in absolute quiet. No one hears them, but life is expanding, strengthening, and preparing for a new season of green. There will be days when you feel as though you are moving forward with great momentum, as though life is unfolding in a fresh and hopeful way. But there will also be days when a single old memory, a careless word from someone, or a brief moment of weakness makes you feel as if you have been pulled back to the beginning. My child, do not let those backward steps confuse you. A step back is not a return to the starting line. It is simply the breathing rhythm of healing. Just as the heart contracts and expands, so does the process of restoration. There are moments of advance and moments of retreat. Without that rhythm, you could not live, and without that rhythm, you could not heal. My child, look back at the path you have traveled. You are no longer the person of your former seasons, even if you cannot yet see the full change. Every tear, every silent prayer, every sleepless night you surrendered to me, every moment you withheld yourself from reacting out of old anger, every time you chose silence instead of arguing, each of these has been shaping a new person within you. You are changing in ways heaven sees clearly, even if you do not. There are things within you that must be peeled away, not to hurt you further, but to free you from what no longer belongs to your spirit. I do not peel these layers to wound you. I do it so that you may be lighter, like a farmer gently removing the dry shell to reveal the soft green inside. I am doing the same with your soul, and that green within you, no matter how much you doubt, still lives, still glows, and is still capable of breaking through into new growth. My child, I want you to pay attention to the small changes, not the moments when you stood strong, but the moments when you were fragile and still refused to give up, not the times when you had abundant strength, but the times when you were exhausted and still quietly pushed a little further, not the victories, but the moments when your heart trembled and you chose to move forward. Anyway, these are the signs that the miracle is already unfolding, not a bright miracle for others to witness, but a silent miracle within one, made of endurance, of steadfastness, of transformation that makes no sound. I also want you to learn the practice of forgiveness, not to lessen the weight of someone else's wrong, but so your soul will not remain tied to old pain. Forgiveness is not declaring that what happened was right. Forgiveness is declaring that you will no longer let it imprison you. Forgiveness is your freedom, not their exemption. And in the end, you will discover that forgiveness is the healing I have prepared for your heart, not a gift for anyone else. In this journey, I know you carry many questions with no answer yet. You wonder why it happened, why you had to endure so much, why the people you trusted caused you pain, why you saw no sign before it all unfolded. But, my child, there are questions only time can answer. There are questions you will understand only after you have walked far enough. And there are questions for which you will never have an answer, because they were not designed to be understood. They were designed to teach you how to trust. Trust that I still hold all things in my hands. Trust that I see farther than you do. Trust that I know what will make you stronger, deeper, and more whole. My child, when you feel unsteady, remember that I have never left your side. I have walked with you through far more dark corners than you realize. Every time you felt despair, I placed my hand over your heart to keep it from shattering. Every time you wanted to give up, I whispered a small word into your mind, just enough for you to take one more step. Every time you sat in the night asking whether you could keep going, I was right there, breathing my breath into yours. You did not hear it, but I was doing it. Now, my beloved child, I want you to understand that you are stepping into a new territory of the soul, one you could not enter before because you were not yet strong enough or peaceful enough. But now, after weathering the storm and still standing, you have the capacity to go deeper into your true essence. In this new place, you will learn to see life not with the fear that once clouded your eyes, but with a heart no longer as fragile as in past seasons, and with a soul refined enough to discern the sound of my voice from the echo of anxiety. And my child, what lies before you is not emptiness. What lies before you is light, is peace, is the opening of doors I am preparing for you. You do not yet see it, but I see it. You do not yet touch it, but I am building it. You do not yet understand it, but I am placing every brick, every beam, every thread of light into the future I have crafted for you. Everything is taking shape from pieces you thought were unrelated to things you believed were already finished. I am turning every fragment into a new structure. I am turning every wound into strength. I am turning every tear into rivers of healing. And, my beloved child, as you continue taking the first steps into this new land within your soul, I want you to understand that this is not merely a journey of healing. It is a journey of rebirth. Every time you rise above a layer of emotion, every time you face a part of yourself you once avoided, you are being recreated into the image I intended from the beginning. You are not only becoming more healed, you are becoming more expansive, more luminous, more gentle, yet strong. For within that very gentleness, I find your deepest strength, because a heart that can feel deeply is a heart capable of loving profoundly and carrying the spiritual authority I placed within it. My child, there will be days when you feel that everything is moving too slowly, days when it seems as though the world is advancing while you are the only one standing still. But I want you to remember that slowness is not delay, it is preparation. You are being opened layer by layer, not to become someone different, but to return to the truest essence I breathed into you when I formed you. You may not realize it, but through the years, many things from the outside have clung to you. Other people's expectations, the fear of being abandoned, the pressure to prove yourself, the feeling that you must be strong so others can depend on you. All these things have been like heavy garments weighing you down. And now, in this new territory, I am helping you take them off one by one, not to leave you exposed, but to make you free. When you come to the place where you see yourself exactly as you are, not as the world labels you, not as fear whispers to you, but as I see you, you will feel your heart begin to open in a way you have never experienced. That is when you will recognize that the weakness you once despised is actually part of your spiritual beauty. The tears you used to hold back are in fact the cleansing waters I use to wash away what no longer serves your journey. Those moments when you thought you were breaking apart were the very moments when your spiritual roots were digging deeper into the soil I had prepared for you. My child, there are burdens you have carried for so long that you have forgotten you were never meant to carry them at all. There are emotions you've held onto because you believed they were your responsibility to fix, to heal, to hold. But I never asked you to do everything. I asked you to be faithful, but I did not ask you to save everyone. I asked you to love, but I did not ask you to carry all the sorrow of the world. I asked you to be patient, but I did not ask you to remain trapped in relationships that wither your soul. I asked you to give me your heart, but I did not ask you to give away your peace to others. Now, as you step into this new land, I want you to look closely at what truly belongs to you and what you have. been holding on to only because you feared that letting go would mean you failed. There are things you must release not because you no longer love them, but because they no longer bring life to your spirit. There are people you must allow to leave not because you dislike them, but because you cannot carry them with you into this new season. There are choices you must decline not because they are wrong, but because they no longer align with the path I am leading you into. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is opening. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is transition. Letting go is not a lack of love. Letting go is loving yourself enough to move toward me. And my child, when you finally release these things, the first feeling you experience will not always be relief. Sometimes it will be emptiness. Do not fear that emptiness. It is the space I create in you so that new seeds may be planted. No soil can receive seed while it remains crowded. No vessel can be refilled while it is still heavy with what is old. I am clearing a place for you. I am creating room in your soul so that what belongs to me may enter. That emptiness may feel unsettling because it is unfamiliar, but it is the sign that the new season has truly begun. There will be days, even in the middle of the journey, when you will feel tired and think you have gone back to the beginning. But my child, no one can return to the starting point. Every step moves you forward, whether you feel it or not. Remember this. You have opened a door inside your heart, and no one can close that door again, not even you. Once light has touched the soul, you cannot return to the old darkness. You may cover your eyes for a moment, but the light remains patient, gentle, unwavering. My child, I know there are moments when you wonder whether you are moving in the right direction. You wonder whether the voice you hear is truly mine or simply your own heart trying to comfort itself. But I want you to know this. My voice always carries a mark that cannot be mistaken. It never provokes fear. It never rushes you. It never makes you feel small or insufficient. My voice always carries the breath of peace. Even when I teach you something difficult, peace remains. Even when I correct you, your heart is not crushed. Even when I call you to step out of your comfort zone, you do not feel pushed off a cliff. I lead, I do not shove. I invite, I do not force. I touch, I do not seize. I love you with a love that never violates your freedom. My child, there will be moments when you feel you have nothing to offer me except exhaustion and quiet sighs. Yet those very things, which seem insignificant, are the truest prayers of all. I am not moved by eloquent words, I am moved by sincerity. When you say, Lord, I am tired, that is the moment you invite me into the very center of your soul's battle. When you say, Lord, I don't know what to do, that is when you open the door for me to guide you. When you say, Lord, please help me rise again, that is the moment you allow me to lift you with my mighty hand. My child, I never turn away a heart that calls out to me. And, my beloved child, the most beautiful part of this journey has not yet begun. You have only stepped into the early stages of restoration. Before you lies a new season, a season in which you will look back at everything you have endured and realize that not a single tear was wasted, not a single night of darkness was pointless, not a single prayer fell to the ground. You will see that I used everything, leaving nothing behind, to lay the foundation for what is coming. You will understand that pain was never the ending. It was a colon opening a new chapter, a deeper dimension within your soul. The day will come when you wake up and realize that fear no longer grips you when you think about the future. The day will come when you stand firm and know your heart has found peace again. The day will come when you smile because you finally see how I turned what once brought you to your knees into the very strength that now makes you unshakable. And the day will come when you give thanks. Thank the version of yourself who refused to give up. Thank me for never leaving you. And thank life for shaping you into someone deeper and more radiant. My child, I am right here, today, tomorrow, and every day after. You do not need to fear the road ahead. Simply place your hand in mine, and I will lead you into the land of peace your soul has been longing for all this time. My beloved child, as you continue walking on this new path, I want you to be deeply aware that every step you take is not just a movement of your feet, but a shift within your entire inner world. You are not merely walking on the earth. You are walking through layers of yourself, through memories, old scenes, former beliefs, and stories that once defined you. And with each step, I am walking beside you, not as a distant figure, but as a warmth at your side, warmth you sometimes only feel in the quietest moments. There will be days when you feel as though you are standing at a crossroads where old and new roads meet. One side holds things familiar yet draining. The other holds things unknown, stirring both hope and trembling within you. You have become so accustomed to enduring that sometimes you mistake endurance for faithfulness. But, my child, I did not call you to a life of unending weariness. I called you to a life of peace. I do not lead you down paths that exhaust your soul. I lead you into places where you can breathe, where you can live, grow, and blossom. Do not confuse familiarity with rightness. Just because something has been in your life for a long time does not mean it belongs in this new season. My child, do you know that your soul is like a house with many rooms? There are rooms you have locked for years because you were afraid, or because you believed you lacked the courage to open them. There are corners you avoid because you do not want to see what you buried there. But, my child, I do not desire any room in the house of your soul to remain in darkness. When I enter, my light reaches every corner not to expose you in shame, but to set you free, not to point out your flaws, but to show you that I have never once viewed those places as something that makes you less worthy. The very places you fear most are the places where I desire to plant the strongest flowers. And when you allow me to open those rooms, you will discover something unexpected. Truth does not break you the way you thought it would. You once believed that if you faced your pain, your unfinished stories, the parts of yourself you are not proud of, you would fall apart. But no, my child, truth does not shatter you, lies do. Truth liberates, lies imprison. The real ache is not caused by light entering, but by your efforts to keep the light out. My beloved child, as you begin to see yourself more clearly, you will also recognize something crucial. You have been far too harsh with yourself. You have denied yourself the chance to be weak, to rest, to cry, to be held. You have played the role of the strong one for so long that you forgot you are human, a soul that needs comfort, a heart that needs tenderness, a mind that needs relief. I did not create you to be unbreakable at all times. I created you to stand firm like a mountain, to flow gently like water, and to be still like breath. All of these are you, and I love every part, every version, every quiet layer within you. When you learn to see yourself through eyes refined by my spirit, you will begin to recognize that many things you once believed about yourself were never true. The careless words spoken over you in the past, the unfair judgments, the comparisons that made you shrink, the painful experiences that led you to think you were worth less, none of these were my voice. My voice never diminishes you. It lifts you up. It never confines you. It opens the way before you. It never makes you afraid of me. It makes you want to draw closer to me. My child, there is something else I want you to understand. What you have walked through was not only meant to strengthen you, but to deepen you. Some wounds do more than leave marks. They create a depth you did not possess before. That depth teaches you compassion, teaches you how to hold the pain of another, how to listen without rushing to judge, how to recognize the fragility behind every face. Those who have never been broken do not understand the cry of someone who is hurting. But you, the one who once fell and rose, again you understand. And I will use that understanding, that pain, that resurrection, as a gift you will bring to the world. My beloved child, do you know that those who carry the most scars are often the ones who carry the greatest measure of light? Not because they are perfect, but because they understand the dark. When you have sat in the night, you understand the worth of a single flame. When you have lost your direction, you cherish the hand that guides. When you have hurt so deeply that you wanted to let go, you will know how to hold someone who is falling without leaving their side. And that is what I see in you. Someone who is healed not merely to live, but to heal others. You ask me, Lord, why must I go through so much? And I answer, because I am forming within you a vessel that can hold more love, more compassion, more endurance. A small love cannot flow. Through a small vessel, I must enlarge you. And sometimes enlargement means cracking. But the crack is not the end. It is the beginning, the place where the light enters. And my child, what you are walking toward is not a weary future, but a peaceful one. Not a future filled with endless battles, but the future of maturity. Not a future of isolation, but one of deep connection with the souls I will send to you. Not a future of unanswered questions, but one shaped by wisdom forged in the nights when you refused to give up. One day, you will look back and see that the pain did not destroy you, it opened you. It did not steal your light, it taught you how to guard it. It did not take your peace, it pushed you to seek peace from the right source. You will understand that I kept you from paths that did not belong to you, and guided you onto a road where every stone was placed by my love. You will see that you were never abandoned, never forgotten, never walking without me, behind you, beside you, and before you. My child, keep walking. You do not need to run, you do not need to strive. You simply need to take each step gently, slowly, with an open heart and eyes fixed on me. Everything you do not yet understand will become clear. Everything you do not yet see will reveal itself. Everything you thought was lost will return in a completely new way. You are not wandering in a meaningless circle. You are walking in my hand. My beloved, as you continue the journey I am leading you through, you will discover that some of the greatest steps forward do not come through strength, but through surrender. Not surrender to darkness, but surrender to me, to my love, my initiative, my tender guidance. One of the greatest lessons many souls must learn through seasons of pain is the release of control. You have grown used to carrying everything yourself, used to managing, used to enduring alone. But, my child, there are stretches of the path where the soul truly opens only when you say, Lord, I cannot, please do it for me. That does not make you weak, it makes you real. It makes you like soft clay under the potter's hands, ready to be shaped into what I have intended. When you let go, you will see that some of the things you clung to were burdens, and some of the things you thought you needed to survive were actually the very things causing your soul to bleed. Letting go is letting me hold it for you. Letting go is letting yourself breathe. Letting go is discovering how small the things you grasped really are when placed beside my love. There will be days when the change within you feels too slow, as if you are standing in the middle of the journey, unable to see the destination. But my child, the spiritual path is not measured by speed, it is measured by depth. The most delicate, quiet, hidden changes are often those with the greatest impact. They do not boast, they do not roar, they do not shine outwardly, but they take root. And when the roots grow deep enough, your whole life will turn in a new direction. Let me tell you something that many people spend a lifetime trying to grasp. Not every movement can be seen. Some movements occur only within the heart. Some growth cannot be observed with the eyes, but must be sensed with the spirit. And you, my child, are experiencing those very movements, inner shifts, known only to you and me. Do not be surprised when you feel different, even if you cannot fully explain why. That is your soul restructuring itself. That is your heart being stitched back together. That is your entire being being reshaped in the space I am opening for you. My child, there will be days when your heart feels more sensitive than usual. A small comment might touch you deeply, a single glance might stir your thoughts, and a fleeting memory might bring you to tears. You may think you are getting weaker, but you are not, you are becoming more authentic. Those who have spent too long pretending to be strong often forget what true spiritual sensitivity feels like. When I heal you, your heart will soften before it becomes steadier. You will feel more before you rise higher. You will weep more before you grow stronger. And all of this is the natural process of restoration. There are parts within you that have been numb for many years because of old pain. Now they are awakening. When you touch them, they hurt because life is returning to them. But do not fear this. You are not hurting because the wound is worsening. You are hurting because it is healing. A frozen wound does not ache, but it also never heals. A wound warm enough to feel pain is a wound receiving life. You are returning to yourself, my child. And then there will be moments when old memories pull you back, not to break you, but to teach you one final lesson before you step out of the old season. Memories do not return to imprison you. They return to release you. They whisper, "This is what once held you down. Do you want to carry it into the next season?" And you will learn to answer, "No, I do not." That simple response, whether whispered quietly or spoken through trembling lips, is a spiritual declaration more powerful than many of your past prayers. It is the declaration that you have grown, you have understood, you are ready. My beloved child, I also want you to begin recognizing my hand in the smallest details of your life. Not every miracle I perform is radiant enough for others to see. Many miracles I craft are for you alone, in the hidden places where no one else stands witness. Like the morning when you felt lighter even though the night before you could barely breathe. Like the moment your heart opened when you heard an unexpected phrase. Like the day you realized you no longer trembled when thinking of someone who once walked away. Like the moment you caught yourself smiling naturally after many days of heaviness. None of these things are random. They are signs that I am restoring you, gently and continually, bit by bit, day by day. My child, let me speak to you about your future, the future you cannot yet see but that I have already seen in full. In that future, you stand firm on legs that once trembled, not because you have become unbreakable like steel, but because you have become soft like soil. Soft soil grows roots, and deep roots stand steady in storms. You will no longer fear sudden changes, because you will know that I never leave you. You will no longer run from difficult emotions, because you will know you can hold them without drowning in them. You will no longer fear loss, because you will understand that everything that leaves is clearing the path for what truly belongs to you. You will no longer panic over uncertainty, because you will know that I walk ahead of you and prepare the way. Your future will not be sealed by fear, but written by my hand in the ink of hope. You will go places you once believed you were not good enough to enter. You will build things you once believed you lacked the ability to create. You will meet people whose souls resonate with yours in ways you have never experienced. Old relationships, old seasons, old roles will give way to the sacred connections I have set apart for you, connections not rooted in need or fear, but in maturity and light. My child, the day will come when you look back on everything you have lived through and realize that not a single moment was wasted. Every tear watered your own soul. Every long night pushed your spiritual roots deeper. Every wound made you softer, kinder, more compassionate. And that very softness is your true strength, the strength of those touched by my spirit, the strength of souls that know how to love, how to ache, and how to rise again. When that day comes, you will realize that everything you once believed had broken you was actually turning you back toward me. You will see that I have patiently walked with you through the seasons when you did not recognize me, through the days when you thought you were lost, through the nights when you wept in silence. You will say, Lord, thank you for not abandoning me, even when I thought I had nothing left to hold on to. My beloved child, I will continue leading you step by step, hour by hour, moment by moment, into a future filled with light, a future I prepared for you long before you were born. All you need to do is keep walking, and I will always be here. Now pray. Lord, I lower my heart before you in this very moment. I want to hear your voice with complete inner stillness, no longer allowing fear, worry, or speculation to guide my passive heart. You see that I am standing at the threshold of a new season, a transition even I cannot fully understand. I feel the heavy waves approaching, the inevitable things drawing nearer to my life. Lord, help me not to panic at the sight of darkness, but to look to you, the light that surrounds me. Grant me the faith to understand that your warnings are not meant to make me tremble, but to prepare me to stand firm when the strong winds sweep through. Teach me to bow and receive what you speak, and remind me that even if the ground beneath me shakes, you remain the unchanging foundation. Anchor my heart in your presence, so that when the warning comes, I do not run away, but draw nearer to you, trusting that your love is the safest place for my soul. Lord, I hear you speak of a coming night, a season in which everything may shift so quickly that I will not have time to prepare. I do not deny that my heart feels fear, apprehension, and uneasiness. Yet even in that fear, I want to place my hand in yours. Help me remember that the darkness is never strong enough to hide the presence of the one who covers me. When I enter those dim hours, keep me from staring at the thickness of the night. Let me look to the one who promised to walk with me. Give me spiritual eyes to see deeper and farther, to perceive that beyond the darkness lies a new morning you are quietly preparing. Do not let me mistake temporary silence for abandonment. You are there, even when I cannot feel you. Lord. Plant in my heart a peace that does not depend on circumstances, but on who you are. If I must pass through the night, then let me pass through it with you, not dragging myself alone in isolation. Lord, there are things in my life I once believed would always remain relationships, plans, stability, even spiritual pillars I thought would never be shaken. But today I see them trembling layer by layer, and my heart aches. I confess that I have clung to some things as though they were the foundation of my life, when only you deserve to hold that place. Forgive me for the times I leaned on temporary things instead of leaning on you. If this is the season, you are moving me toward a new land, a new door that only opens when the old ones fully close. Give me the courage to release my grip. Help me not to see every shaking as a failure, but as your way of pulling me away from what no longer belongs to me. Lord, when I feel as though I am losing everything, remind me that you are laying a new foundation, deeper, stronger, and truer. Let my heart say, Lord, I do not understand everything, but I choose to believe that your hand still holds my life firmly. Lord, I once looked at pain as my enemy, as the end of my dreams and my peace. But through your words, I have come to understand that in your kingdom, pain is only a chapter in the story, not the final punctuation. Pain is like the fire that refines gold, like the rising sun that burns away the fog, so a new morning can be born. Lord, if you allow pain to knock on my door, please help me see it through your light. Let my tears not be tears of despair, but tears you see and use to water new seeds within my soul. Use even the trembling in me to reshape this heart to make it purer, deeper, and more tender toward you and toward others. Do not let pain make me hardened. Let it make me more like you. Give me the courage to step into the process of transformation, rather than only wishing to escape its discomfort. Lord, there are defining moments when a heavy wave touches my life, and I realize I am standing before two paths, one filled with fear and the other filled with you. It is so easy to surrender to dark scenarios in my mind, to let my heart be carried away by anxiety, anger, or confusion. But I no longer want to live under the control of fear. Today, I openly choose you. Be the one who guides my responses so that I do not react from a wounded instinct, but respond with the wisdom and peace that come from the Holy Spirit. Let your light shine into my own heart so I might understand why you must allow certain things to unfold. When I cannot change my circumstances, please change me. When the storm arrives, let my prayer not be only for it to pass quickly, but for you to remain with me in the storm. Place within me a gentle kind of courage, not a courage born of my own strength, but one grounded in your nearness. Lord, you know there are times when I am so exhausted that all I can say is, I can't take it anymore. There are nights when my pillow is soaked with tears and days when I smile at others while my heart quietly falls apart. Thank you that you do not despise my tears, but regard them as wordless prayers. Give me the courage not to suppress the tears you have woven into me as a delicate part of my being. Free me from the burden of always having to be strong, so that I may dare to be vulnerable before you without shame. Let every tear that falls become a stream, washing away layers of weariness and wounds I have hidden for far too long. Use my tears to soften the soil of my heart, so new seeds of hope can take root. And when I say to you, it hurts so much, let me experience your gentle hand touching the deepest places of my soul, places I myself cannot reach. Lord, I confess that at times I have turned prayer into a ritual, a duty, a list of things I want you to do. I have tried to find words that sound better, holier, forgetting that what you seek is a truthful heart. Today, please teach me to pray like a river, unforced, unpolished, unconfined by form, but flowing naturally from the deepest part of who I am. Give me the courage to come to you with the simplest words. I'm scared. I don't understand. Please hold my hand. Please keep my heart from slipping away. Help me realize that these fragile words have a sweeter fragrance before you than any eloquent but empty prayer. When my mind is in chaos, teach me to be still before you and trust that you hear me even when I cannot speak. Let prayer within me become like a breath, ordinary, steady, intimate, and alive. Lord, many times I have complained that I cannot hear your voice, when in truth, my mind has been filled with other noises, I chase after worries, listen to assumptions, and become haunted by questions without answers. Today, I ask you to teach me the art of being still on the inside so that my mind is no longer like a raging sea, but like a calm lake resting before you. Help me recognize that your voice is not always thunder or strong wind, but often a gentle whisper deep within my soul. Tune my spiritual ear so I may discern what is your voice, what is fear, and what is the cry of my wounded self. And when all I hear is silence, remind me that even silence can be your embrace, a space where my soul can rest. Grant me the perseverance to remain in your presence so that day by day I become more attuned to the soft signals of heaven, rather than constantly reacting to the noise of the world. Lord, I once looked at pain as my enemy, as the end of my dreams and my peace. But through your words, I have come to understand that in your kingdom, pain is only a chapter in the story, not the final punctuation. Pain is like the fire that refines gold, like the rising sun that burns away the fog, so a new morning can be born. Lord, if you allow pain to knock on my door, please help me. See it through your light. Let my tears not be tears of despair, but tears you see and use to water new seeds within my soul. Use even the trembling in me to reshape this heart to make it purer, deeper, and more tender toward you and toward others. Do not let pain make me hardened. Let it make me more like you. Give me the courage to step into the process of transformation, rather than only wishing to escape its discomfort. Lord, there are defining moments when a heavy wave touches my life and I realize I am standing before two paths, one filled with fear and the other filled with you. It is so easy to surrender to dark scenarios in my mind, to let my heart be carried away by anxiety, anger, or confusion. But I no longer want to live under the control of fear. Today, I openly choose you. Be the one who guides my responses so that I do not react from a wounded instinct, but respond with the wisdom and peace that come from the Holy Spirit. Let your light shine into my own heart so I might understand why you must allow certain things to unfold. When I cannot change my circumstances, please change me. When the storm arrives, let my prayer not be only for it to pass quickly, but for you to remain with me in the storm. Place within me a gentle kind of courage, not a courage born of my own strength, but one grounded in your nearness. Lord, you know there are times when I am so exhausted that all I can say is, I can't take it anymore. There are nights when my pillow is soaked with tears, and days when I smile at others while my heart quietly falls apart. Thank you that you do not despise my tears, but regard them as wordless prayers. Give me the courage not to suppress the tears you have woven into me as a delicate part of my being. Free me from the burden of always having to be strong, so that I may dare to be vulnerable before you without shame. Let every tear that falls become a stream, washing away layers of weariness and wounds I have hidden for far too long. Use my tears to soften the soil of my heart, so new seeds of hope can take root. And when I say to you, it hurts so much, let me experience your gentle hand touching the deepest places of my soul, places I myself cannot reach. Lord, I confess that at times I have turned prayer into a ritual, a duty, a list of things I want you to do. I have tried to find words that sound better, holier, forgetting that what you seek is a truthful heart. Today, please teach me to pray like a river unforced, unpolished, unconfined by form, but flowing naturally from the deepest part of who I am. Give me the courage to come to you with the simplest words. I'm scared. I don't understand. Please hold my hand. Please keep my heart from slipping away. Help me realize that these fragile words have a sweeter fragrance before you than any eloquent but empty prayer. When my mind is in chaos, teach me to be still before you and trust that you hear me, even when I cannot speak. Let prayer within me become like a breath, ordinary, steady, intimate, and alive. Lord, many times I have complained that I cannot hear your voice, when in truth my mind has been filled with other noises. I chase after worries, listen to assumptions, and become haunted by questions without answers. Today, I ask you to teach me the art of being still on the inside so that my mind is no longer like a raging sea, but like a calm lake resting before you. Help me recognize that your voice is not always thunder or strong wind, but often a gentle whisper deep within my soul. Tune my spiritual ear so I may discern what is your voice, what is fear, and what is the cry of my wounded self. And when all I hear is silence, remind me that even silence can be your embrace, a space where my soul can rest. Grant me the perseverance to remain in your presence so that day by day I become more attuned to the soft signals of heaven, rather than constantly reacting to the noise of the world. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we may continue building a strong community of faith together.